Hello, welcome back. It's so good to see you. So today we are going to be doing a neighborhood gossip video because we have got to talk. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have some crazy stuff to tell you this time. I need my lip stuff. My lips feel dry. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. I meant to do this before the video, but I forgot. Okay, so where do I set that? Okay. Whoa. I've got so many stuff to say, so many things to say, and I don't know where to start. So, okay. First of all, I just want to mention before I get into this one story, I don't care, how you want to live your life or whatever. People can live their life however they want. I don't judge. It's your life, you know what I mean? But I recently just found out something and I was like, oh, I knew it. It makes no difference to my life. I could care less. But the fact that I was right about something, I don't know. It was just so satisfying and I was like, ugh, this is great. I don't know why it's great, but it made me feel like I knew it. I was right. Okay, so this is going to be about my neighbors across the street. They're catty corner. Not red shirt. Although I gotta tell you some stuff about red shirt too. If you don't know who red shirt is, first of all, if you haven't seen any of my other neighborhood gossip videos, you should go check them out because I talk about the same neighbors, because they're my neighbors. But red shirt is a guy that moved in probably like 4 years ago, maybe, and I didn't see him moving in. Like, my husband was like, the neighbors are moving in, and I went outside to look, and I was like, where? I didn't see anybody. The guy was right in front of me, but I just couldn't see him, and so my husband started pointing at him and being like, red shirt, right there. So now his name is Red Shirt. We know his real name, but we call him Red Shirt. Let me tell you about Red Shirt first before I get into the crazy story. So Red Shirt, this was probably about a month or two ago, maybe a little bit longer. He pulled up to his house and he had this big couch in the back, and like, our houses are very close together, and I have these windows in the front, so they're always open, so I can literally see everything that's going on, like, all the time. And his truck is so loud. I saw him pull up, and he had this big couch, and I was like, oh, Red Shirt's got this huge couch, and he was looking at it like, how am I gonna get this thing out of here, and so I told my husband, I was like, he's got that big couch, so my husband went over there and helped him get the couch out of his truck, and they put it in the garage. He didn't want it in the house, he wanted it in the garage, and I was like, that's weird. But then I was like, maybe he's gonna be turning his garage into like a man cave or something like that, because he's outside all the time, always doing something in his garage, anyway. So he helped him put it in his garage, and that was the end of that. And then like 2 days later, I see him come out with another couch. He was bringing it home in his truck, and I was like, what the hell? Red Shirt's bringing home another couch. And my husband was like, I'm not helping him, because he was busy anyway, but he's like, I'm not gonna help him move another couch. But he got it out anyway, and he put it in his garage, and I was like, what is going on? And then the next day, same thing, another couch put it in the garage, another couch put in the garage. This guy, his garage, it's a normal size garage, right? But they don't use their front door, they use the door in their garage to go in and out of their house, so the garage door is like always open. And I was like, what the hell? Because the garage was literally packed full of couches, like couches stacked on top of couches, and I was like, what is going on? Well, he actually came over, like, we were hanging out in the driveway because the kids were riding their bikes or scooters or something. I don't know what they were doing, but they were outside, and his kids are always outside, so they play together. Well, he saw us outside, and he just came over to, talk. And I was like, what's up with all these couches? Because it's like, what is going on? So he started this side business kind of thing where he just drives around, or he looks up on like Facebook Marketplace and I don't know, like Craigslist and just stuff like that. And he looks for people who are giving away free couches. So he goes and picks up these couches, brings them home, and then his wife spends all day cleaning the couches. And then they repost them on all these apps for a couple $100. And then people will just come by and pick them up. And he said when we spoke to him, he was like, yeah, last weekend I made $1,200. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, his brother-in-law and sister, or sister-in-law and brother, I don't know, they are helping him with this side business, and they're making so much money that they actually quit their jobs. Redshirt didn't quit his job. He said that he doesn't feel very confident that it will continue this flow of money, so he hasn't quit his job yet. But he's like, it's a nice side job because you get lots of money. He's like, so if you guys want to join in, like he asked us to join in on this side business, and we're like, nah, like that would be nice, extra money, but like we're super busy, so I don't have time to clean couches and pick up couches. And I was like, where are we gonna put these? Because we actually use our garage for a garage, So I was like, no, that's okay. You have fun, So there's constantly just new couches coming, like literally every single day. And I'm like, how is he gonna fit that couch in there? Because it's like Tetris, but with couches. Crazy. But my gosh, his wife is strong. She's very tall and bigger. She's strong. Very, very strong. I'm like super weak. I've got like, I have MS, so like my muscles give out. I've got nothing, so I could never help with these couches. But she's like just picking up couches up her head, and like, I'm like, girl, you get it, because my gosh. But then when he was talking to us about the couches and stuff, we were talking about a bunch of stuff that day, and we had mentioned something about this neighborhood where our dream house is. I showed the dream house on my channel, the floor plan, but anyway, he was like, oh yeah, I know that neighborhood. I dropped my dog off there. And I was like, what? Because I was thinking, hold on. Sorry, I had something in my throat. I was thinking that like maybe he had like a dog daycare or something, But I was like, they don't have any dog daycares around there. I was like, what do you mean you dropped your dog off? And he was like, oh yeah, the dog that I used to have? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, he started getting aggressive, so I just drove out to that neighborhood and let him go. What? I could not believe that he was just willingly giving out this information. Like, okay, first of all, you don't do that. There are tons of shelters, like there's literally a dog shelter a mile down the road, okay? Take your dog there, or call them and be like, hey, I found this dog, like, who does that? They're like, my dog's getting a little aggressive, so I'm gonna drive to this really nice neighborhood that's full of families and children and drop off my aggressive dog and then just drive away. Who does that? And I'm like, okay, if you do that, why would you even tell anyone ever? He just offered it up like it was so funny. Yeah, I know that neighborhood. What? So now I don't like Redshirt as much, because I'm like, who does that? And who does that to the dog? Like that dog was probably just like, ooh, we're gonna go for a walk or the park or something, and then sees the truck drive away and is just like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just so messed up. I was just mad. Like, me and my husband, as soon as he said that, we like locked eyes and we're like, did this just happen? Did he just say this? What? Anyway, so yeah, that's Red Shirt. He's the other catty corner house. So on the other side, there is this has been going on for years, actually, since we moved in almost 7 years ago. Like I said, I sit in the front room, and like, we've got all these windows so I can see everything, and like where my chair is, it's like directed at this house. And I have a name for this house. I call it Sister Wife House. Because for years I have been like, what's going on with this house? Because when they first moved in, there was a woman and a man that showed up, you know, because we were the first people on this street when they were doing the new builds and stuff. So we saw all the neighbors move in and we met them, you know, so like, we're all pretty friendly on this street. Anyway, so I met the couple or whatever, and then a few days later they actually moved in, and they had a bunch of kids, like a bunch of them. And anyway, so, you know, like how you go outside or whatever, you just randomly see things. So over the years I have been seeing that there were actually 2 women that lived there, and I was like, huh, that's weird. Maybe one of them is like the sister or cousin or something like that, you know, because I used to live with my sister. Me and my husband used to live with my sister while this house was being built. Anyway, so, but I was just like, stuff's weird over there. Like, it almost appeared as though it was a sister-wife situation, you know, one man got 2 wives, which is not that big a deal. I know that happens all the time, but I was like, really? Like, can this be? You know, my husband's like, no, that doesn't happen, which is funny because he has a family member. They have a life like that, so it does happen. Anyway, so I've just been watching this sister wife thing across the street for years, right? Well, a couple years ago, one of the sister wives graduated college, and she actually became what was that? She actually became a nurse, and she had a graduation party, and it was this big party over there, you know, and there was balloons and a huge sign and stuff like that. And so after that, she was a nurse, and so, you know, nurses, they make in the big bucks, right? But then I noticed that like the husband was always home, and I'm like, what's going on? Why is the husband always home and the other sister wife is always there? And I was like, did they like quit their jobs or something? Because this one chick is a nurse now, and they're like, she makes money, we don't have to work anymore, you know? And I was like, that makes me not like them. I don't know if any of this was true, but I was like creating my own stories in my head, you know? I do that a lot, and I tell my husband, you ain't gonna believe what happened at Sister Wife House today. And he's like, oh, okay. He's not believing anything that I say, because I have a very active imagination. And so after she graduated, you know, the husband and the other sister wife, they were like home a lot, you know, and I was just like, that's weird. And then you could hear and see like arguments in the garage and stuff like that, but like I couldn't hear what they were saying and stuff. And I was like, ooh, main sister wife is getting mad because he ain't working, he's a piece of crap, and she feels like she's being used and blah blah blah, you know. I don't know. Anyway, and so then like one day this realtor came by and put one of those for sale signs on the front lawn, and I was like, she was tired of his crap, and she was like, we gonna break up, and I'm gonna sell this house, and I'm making all this stuff up in my head, right? As I'm making this up in my head, I see the husband storm out of the house, very angry. And this was after the real estate person lady like drove away. He storms out very angrily and rips the sign out. Now this is one of those like wooden signs that they like hammered into the ground. He literally ripped it out, went into the garage, and just threw it against the wall. And I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Because I was like, okay, what is going on? So then I was like, well, what happened is she said she was tired of his crap, not working, all this stuff. She's not going to be supporting their whole family, and anyway, who knows if this stuff is true, but this is what's going on in my head. And anyway, so a few weeks later, I noticed that husband and second sister wife, their cars aren't there anymore, and like there's not a lot of kids. They've got like 6 kids together, but the youngest one is the nurse sister wife's kid. So she has 1 kid with this man, and the other woman has 5 kids with this man. So I've noticed that there was only 1 kid there, but when school is happening, all the kids get off the bus, go to the house, and then the husband and the second sister wife come and pick up all those kids and then take them away. And I'm like, what in the hell? And I see them at school dropping them off, but only those 5 kids, not the little one. And I'm like, okay, they're using that address to keep the kids in the school, because the school that the kids go to is really, really good. So they're just using that address. I was like, the nurse kicked him out. She was like, I'm tired of your crap. You're out of here, right? And I was like, oh my God, did that actually happen? And so for a long time, it was like that. He wasn't around. He would come home to pick up the kids, and the kids would always be there on the weekends. It was kind of like that was their arrangement, but him and the other sister wife weren't there. He would just drop the kids off, come pick them up on Sunday, and then pick them up from school every day when the bus dropped them off. And I'm like, how does he have all this free time? Like, does he not work? Like, what is going on? But anyway, over Christmas, I noticed that husband and second sister wife are back, and I'm like, oh no, because I was like kind of disappointed in the nurse sister wife. I'm like, no girl, you taking back this loser? Like, no. I don't know the story, I don't know the situation, but that's how it is in my head. And I was like really disappointed in her. I was like, come on girl. She's really, really nice too. Like one time she locked herself out of the house, and she came over and she asked my husband to break her door down, and so he did, and he knocked the whole door off of the thing. And she was like, she locked herself out of the house, but the fire alarm was going off because she forgot she was cooking. It was crazy. Anyway, but she's super nice, so I really like her. And I'm like, in my mind, the husband was treating her like crap. So I was really disappointed when husband was back with second sister wife and all the kids, because when all those kids are together, oh, they are crazy and loud, and it just drives me insane. I liked it when it was just her and her son, and her son is actually friends with my daughter in school, and they talk all the time. They're like really good friends. Anyway, so I was just like, what is going on? And my daughter, like a week or 2 ago, she saw her friend playing outside because they had just got this new basketball goal thing. I don't know what you call those. And I was like, oh crap, because I hate that sound. I hate the sound of dribbling a ball. Hate it. So I really thought that it was going to be really bad, but the way that the house is positioned, the sound doesn't come over to our house. It like echoes the other way or something. It's great. Anyway, and I was like, oh no, they're installing a basketball goal thing. This is gonna suck. And she was like, oh, Gabriel's like really good. That's his name. Sorry, I usually don't say names, but she was like, you know, her friend, he's really good at playing basketball because they play basketball at school. And she was like, oh, his brothers and sisters are there. And I was like, what do you mean? Aren't those his cousins? And she was like, no, those are his brothers and sisters, and he hates them because they're so annoying and they steal his stuff, and he's really glad that they moved back out again. And I was like, what? And then I realized that that whole thing started happening again because over Christmas they were there all the time, and so she had taken him back, and then something happened, and it was back to the old routine where they just pick him up for school, you know, drop him off on the weekends. And at this time it was the weekend when they were installing the thing, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what happens. Because the first time that she kicked him out, he bought this one kid that lives there it was like this car that looked like a Jeep, because he was a little kid at the time, and he was driving it up and down the road, you know. And now this time she kicked him out, so he buys him this big basketball goal, you know, and like, I guess trying to make up for not being there. I don't know. But I was just like, wait, those aren't his cousins? And she's like, no, those are his brothers and sisters. And I was like, yes, I knew it. I don't know why it made me so happy, but it did. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm glad that she didn't take him back, because in my mind, that guy's a piece of crap. Because, like I said, you're allowed to live your life however you want, depending on whatever religion you have. That's just the way that it is. I don't know. But to me, I am not okay. Like, if my husband was like, you know, I think I want to bring another woman into the house, and I would not be okay with that. No, that makes me think that you're a piece of crap. I don't know. Because, like, have you ever heard of brother husbands? Is that a thing? Sister, wife, brother, husband. Yeah, like, would he be okay with her bringing another man in? Brother, husband? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if any of that other story is true, but in my mind, it is. So, what is the other thing? Because there was something else that I was... Okay. Yes. So, this is about my neighbor on the side of my house. I've mentioned these neighbors before. I don't really like them. I've met them. It's like a multi-family house. There's grandparents, parents, and then kids. But I've been over to their house to complain about things. I hate doing that, but I had to. And they've got like tons of people living in that house. I'm like, where? I don't ever see these people. Do they just not leave ever? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I've had to complain because they had their like water faucet on my side of the house. It was dripping, and then they didn't fix the drip, and so then it just started spraying, and it was flooding my yard. And I was like, you gotta turn the water off, man. Like, it's destroying my yard, you know. And then another time I had to complain because the one of the main guys, like one of the husbands, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's a grandpa or it's a grandpa and then parents, and then, or grandparents, parents, and then kids. So I think it might be one of the parents. He hangs his clothes out to dry, which is fine if you have a clothes hanger. But he didn't use a clothes hanger, he used our fence. And so randomly I would find men's underwear and socks and t-shirts that have been blown over the fence into our yard. So I was like, can you not do that? Because it was going to be Christmas, and I was going to be having family come over, and sometimes they go in the backyard, and I didn't want them to see men's underwear just all over my fence, you know. So I was like, could you not do that, please? Like, it was very aggravating, but I was like, this has got to stop. I'm about to have a party. I don't want them seeing this, you know. But they took it off, and but then he hung up clothing lines. He tied it to the fence, and then, you know, tied it to the fence, so it's all on his side of the fence, which is nice. Anyway, so the other day, I was taking the trash out to the street, and I saw one of their sons. It's like the kid's son. They have two kid sons. One of them moved out, and we have never seen him again. I don't know where he is. The other one is in high school, and he's really, really nice. But yeah, I was taking the trash out, and I saw the kid outside, and he was doing this weird, like, he was pacing his car, and I was like, what is he doing? But I don't know. Every time I like try and wave or talk to them, they just don't even acknowledge me. So I'm like, okay, they must hate me or something. Anyway, so I just walked back in the house, and I was like, that guy next door, he's like doing some weird pacey. What's going on there, you know? Anyway, and so then I was sitting at the table because I was helping my daughter do homework, and then I saw a police car pull up in my front yard, and I was like, what's this guy? That's my stomach. Sorry, I'm hungry. I was like, what's this guy doing? Oh, what's happening, you know? So I look outside, and I'm like, hopefully this cop doesn't come to my house. Like, so the cop went next door, and I was like, why is he going next door? What's going on? You know. So the cop starts talking to the kid next to his car, and, you know, I'm inside, so I can't hear the conversation, but my son sees this police officer, and he goes running towards the window, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go out there and talk to the cop. And I'm like, no, because something iffy could be happening next door. Like, I mean, I didn't say that, but I was like, no, he's busy, he's working, maybe another time, you know. But I'm like, what is going on? So the cop was talking to the kid, and then he goes out to his car, pulls something out of the back of his truck, and then he comes back, hands the kid some weird box. The kid opens his car, sits down, takes the box into the car, does something in the inside of his car. Then he comes back out of the car, and they're just standing there talking, and then the police guy gets some pliers, does something to the box. The kid gets back into the car, does something inside the car. Then he gets back out, hands the thing to the cop, and then he gets into the back of his own car, does something, closes the door, and then the cop leaves. What did he do? What did the cop do? I don't know. It was so confusing. I was like, what? It's been bothering me for like a week or two. Like, what is going on? What happened? What happened? I don't know. So last Friday, I had got the kids. I always pick the kids up from school. We had just got home. The kids ran into the house because their dad had gotten home early because he was out of town, and he usually comes home Friday nights. He's here Saturday, and then he leaves Sunday. Because he has to do a lot of like this training stuff right now, but it's out of town. But that's almost over. Anyway, so they ran in the house because their dad was home, and I was going to close the garage door, and all of a sudden 4 cop cars just pull up super fast, block my neighbor's driveway, my front yard, my driveway, and my side yard. And I was like, what is happening? Like, literally had my hand on the garage door, and I was like, what? Because they blocked my whole yard, my neighbor's driveway, my drive, like, it, I was like, what are they, like, my whole house was surrounded, and I was like, did I do something wrong? Like, what is, and all these cops, I, like, waited there for a second, because I was like, what happened, you know, expecting someone to come and talk to me. and all these cops get out of their car with their guns, like, and I was like, oh my god, what is going on? But they don't even acknowledge me. They just walk right past me and go to my neighbor's house. And I was like, oh, what is happening? But I didn't want to just stand there in my garage like, you know. So I went into the house, and I had Ava. So I literally, my husband was in the backyard, and I shoved her in the backyard, and then I was like, can't talk, bye, and I went running back to the front yard because I didn't want to miss it, you know. And I was like, what is going on? And my husband comes in the house, and he's like, what's going on? I was like, oh no, our house just got surrounded by cops, but they're going to the neighbors. And he's like, what? So we're all like, what's going on? You know, I have no idea what's going on. They took the kid who one of the cops helped the other day. They took the kid, handcuffed him, took him into the back of the car, into one of the police cars, and then drove off. And I was like, what the hell happened? What happened? I have no idea. And I was like, I gotta know, you know. So I looked up the county police reporter thing, because they always post pictures of the arrests that they do every day, and then they say what this person did. So I was like, I'm gonna find out, you know. So I went and looked. He's not on there. And I was like, what is going on? So I waited a couple days, and then I kept looking at all the mugshots, and I was like, he's not here. I saw him get arrested. You saw him get arrested. What is going on? And then I realized, oh no, he's a minor. So he's not going to go to regular jail. He's going to go to juvenile jail. And they don't post pictures because they're minors. So I'm like, I'm never gonna know. What did he do? Like, why would they surround my house like that to get to his? And then, like, storm out of their cars with their guns. Like, what kind of criminal is this living next door to me? Like, I have no idea, but I really want to know. Anyway, there's another thing that I have to say. It's the last thing, and it's not that big of a deal, but it's a big deal to me, and I'm very angry about it. But pool house behind my house, catty corner, the most annoying house in the world that is so loud. I was out there in the backyard the other day, and I was like, gosh dang it, it's gotten even louder. What is going on? Because, like, their voices, it sounded like they were projecting extremely loud. I could hear their whole conversations and everything. And I was like, what is happening? And as they were talking, they mentioned to whoever they were talking to that, don't you love my new karaoke machine? I'm so excited to use it, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no. So my neighbors that are already a billion times louder than anybody else, who has that pool that just echoes, they know I've gotten a karaoke machine, and I'm going to go insane. Like, right now it's okay because school is happening, but when school gets out, they're going to be out in that pool every single day, and they're going to be using that karaoke machine, and it's going to be loud. How am I going to record? Like, and I would say, I'll just record at night, even though I hate recording at night. They don't care. They stay up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. People gotta sleep, you know? People have kids, but they don't care. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I am happy that the sister wife thing was confirmed, though. I don't know why it made me so happy. It just did. Anyway, so I really hope that you enjoyed that neighborhood gossip, the juicy gossip. I don't know how juicy it was, but anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.